Hey, glad you're here. Today we're going to be talking about XStop for web scraping, the complete selector guide. This is a topic that comes up a lot, and I wanted to give you the most complete guide possible. So without further ado, let's get started. XStop is a query language for selecting nodes in XML and HTML documents. While CSS selectors handle most scraping needs, XStop provides additional power for complex element selection that CSS cannot achieve. Understanding XStop gives you a significant advantage when scraping websites with complex or unusual HTML structures. Let's start with XStop basics. XStop uses path expressions to navigate through HTML documents, similar to how file paths navigate a file system. The / selects from the root, // selects nodes anywhere in the document, a dot refers to the current node, double dots refer to the parent node, and the @ selects attributes. For basic element selection, you can target elements by their tag name, by their position, or by their attributes. The most common pattern is selecting elements by their class or ID attributes, but XStop can also select based on text content, which is something CSS selectors cannot do. Now let's compare XStop versus CSS selectors. CSS selectors are simpler and faster for basic selections. XStop is more powerful for complex queries. Here's when to use each. Use CSS selectors for simple element selection by class, ID, or tag. Use XStop when you need to select elements based on their text content, navigate to parent elements from children, use complex conditional logic, or work with elements that lack unique classes or IDs. Some advanced XStop techniques that are especially useful for scraping. Text-based selection lets you find elements containing specific text. This is invaluable when elements lack unique attributes but have distinctive text content. Axis navigation lets you move in different directions through the document tree, like selecting siblings, ancestors, or descendants. Conditional expressions lets you combine multiple conditions to precisely target elements. And string functions like contains, starts with, and normalize space help you handle dynamic or inconsistent class names. For practical scraping applications, XPath is particularly useful for scraping data tables where you need to select specific rows and columns, for scraping forms where input fields may lack unique identifiers, for extracting data from nested structures like comments or threaded discussions, and for handling dynamically generated content where class names change on each page load. Some XPath best practices for scraping. Prefer shorter, more specific paths over long absolute paths. Use attributes and text content rather than positional selectors when possible, since positions break when the page structure changes. Test your XPath expressions in browser developer tools before coding them, and have fallback selectors in case the primary XPath breaks. Now for some frequently asked questions, is XPath slower than CSS selectors? Slightly. CSS selector engines are more optimized in most browsers and parsing libraries. However, the difference is negligible for most scraping operations. Use whichever gives you more reliable element selection. Which Python libraries support XPath? LX provides the fastest and most complete XPath support. Bospathy does not natively support XPath, but you can use lxml as its parser. Scrapy uses lxml under the hood and supports XPath selectors directly. And Selenium supports XPath for element location in browser automation. Can I use XPath with headless browsers? Yes. Puppeteer, Playwright, and Selenium all support XPath selectors for finding elements in headless browsers. You can evaluate XPath expressions directly on the rendered DOM. How do I debug XPath expressions? Use your browser's developer tools console. You can test XPath expressions directly and see which elements they match. This is the fastest way to develop and verify your selectors before adding them to your scraping code. So there you have it, a complete breakdown of XPath for web scraping. Remember, the key is to start implementing what you've learned and keep refining your approach over time. For more guides like this one, visit us at dataresearchtools.com. We're constantly putting out new content to help you stay ahead of the curve. See you in the next one.